All right, so welcome to the second half of the Comic Wrestling Podcast. We're going to get into Ace's wheelhouse, and we're going to start talking about comics. We're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about comic movies. So I'm going to turn it right over to the wild card, Ace Williams, to get us started.
Well, let me tell you something, bro. Oh, we're not on wrestling anymore. Sorry. Totally. Wrong gimmick, wrong show, wrong everything. Sorry. Yeah, today, there's a couple things, different little things we want to talk about, but we're mostly gonna stay in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If this seems like it's a reoccurring topic, it's because it is.
It's a fucking universe. It's gonna be a topic.
Exactly. There's 22 movies, 10 years. It's a lot of stuff, but we're really gonna get into the meat of this tonight. Because we're going to do our review of Captain Marvel, spoiler review, because Dave went and finally saw it. It's only been out 2 weeks, so it's not been a rush, but he went and saw it, so we could do this spoiler review. But he's also a fan of these movies, so he's not just pandering, so get off him. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're going to talk about James Gunn. If you follow these movies or you follow the movie news in general, you pretty much know who James Gunn is. My buddy Mark T, I give him a shout out apparently every week. I'm going to do it again now.
Mike Ballard gets one too.
Mike Ballard gets one. Mark T really likes Scooby-Doo, the movie Scooby-Doo, and I say that because James Gunn, I think, wrote it.
I'm not going to hate on that movie.
I'm not going to hate on it either. It's just random and a James Gunn fact, and I just needed to give my quota of a shout out. And speaking of Scooby-Doo, off the rails again, they casted Amanda Seyfried to be Daphne and Zac Efron to be Fred.
Okay.
I'm so okay with that because I've seen that kid be stupid and goofy in a lot of movies, so I could see him being I'm Fred.
Right.
I could see it. But yeah, we're gonna talk about James Gunn because there's quite a bit circulating around him. But right now, what we're gonna jump right into, and I did not know this until yesterday, is today there was Albany Comicon, and you guessed it, Albany. And New York, not
Thank you, Kurt Angle.
Albany, Georgia, or Albany, South Carolina. There's an Albany in every state. Albany, New York, where we live. I didn't know about it till yesterday. My buddy Jimmer, that's his name, Jimmer and Jimmer, the brothers, they knew who I'm talking about. They messaged me yesterday, my buddy James. He messaged me yesterday, Mr. J, we'll call him that, and asked if I was going. I said no, I didn't even know it was. I went with Dave to the wrestling show we talked about a little bit earlier. But I squeezed in going to Comic-Con today before the podcast tonight, so I made a weekend of debauchery and funness. And the Comic-Con was okay. I even have it written down right here in my notes, last minute, because it was very last minute. It was $5 to get in. Wow, that's crazy. It was very small. We walked around maybe a dozen and a half times, saw it all 2.5 dozen times. Dave and I went last year to Albany Comic-Con. It was a little bit, from what I understand, there's 2 of them a year. This is like the springtime one, and then they do a summertime one. I think we went to the summertime one last year from what
I believe so, yeah.
Mr. J was saying. And so maybe the springtime one isn't such a to-do. I had an alright time. The powers of pain were there, supposed to be. At the end, they showed up. One of them, not both of them. The Warlord. I said hi to him. He looked at me like I owed him money, so I kept walking.
Do you owe money?
I've never met the man. If it was a barbarian, maybe I might have, but nah, Warlord, get out of my ring. It's short man. Short man.
They look bigger on TV. They really
Ladies and folks, the Warlord was huge, like physically huge, and had like a Kano face. Or like a metal face. I don't know. But I'm walking by the man, and it was like when we met Ivan Putski.
Yeah.
It was like, holy fuck, Willy Wonka, get your Oompa Loompa back in the factory.
That's one of our first appearances.
One of our first, Ivan Putski and Scotty Putski wrestling off the rails. That should be like our thing, off the rails. And not like a Coke thing. Like, that's not our thing.
That might as well be a t-shirt for us,
off the rails.
Comic podcast, off the rails.
We're patenting it right now, Oswald. You see what I did there? Patent Oswald. I'm like, nobody writes my stuff for me. I said this last night at the wrestling show, who writes my shit? And then I said nobody. because nobody does. It was okay. The Comic-Con was fun. I look forward to the Saratoga one a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's coming up. I don't know the exact date for it. May something. That's on the calendars. May something.
Don't just look it up for yourselves, because we don't.
Saratoga Comic-Con 2019. If you can't Google it, then get off Google. They're going to have Tyler Mane there from Halloween, the Rob Zombie ones. I'm excited. That's my favorite shit. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there with my daughter. I'm excited for that. The midget. Can you call people midgets?
You might as well.
The vertically challenged.
Little person.
The dwarf. The guy that fits in your suitcase. Easy storage luggage.
I don't think he's ever going to hear this, so it doesn't really matter.
He might. I might introduce it to him. The midget from Pirates of the Caribbean, Martin is his name, but Marty was his name in the movie, so there's a little surrealism. He'll be there. The Black Power Ranger, the second one.
Yep, and the one of the other girl Power Rangers that replaced...
I think the second Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
I think is going to be
Which
there.
is kind of cool meeting the Power Rangers.
Right.
Like
I met Amy Jo Johnson.
I wish I had.
I met Amy Jo Johnson, and for all you know it, she's the original Pink Ranger. I met Amy Jo Johnson. Just saying. And Jason Momoa. Just saying, Aquaman. There wasn't really anything big deal at the Comic-Con. Pretty much everything you'd expect to see. The Funko Pops. A couple exclusive ones. People selling the comic books. Artists. They had the long boxes you put comics in.
Yep.
And they were they weren't drawn on, but they had a theme to them. Like they had a Captain America one. People were selling those. I wish I bought one. I didn't. But what I did buy, and we'll go right into that, because really there's nothing else to talk about other than the Albany Comic Con. I went to Arby's after, and I ate some beef. But what I bought, because I always buy stuff at all these cons. This is a little insight of who I am now, because this is some personal stuff. I bought a classic Green Goblin Funko,
which is pretty cool looking. I've seen it.
Which, if you can see it through the computer right now, I'm holding it up for all of you to see, which you can't, but just imagine, just pretend. You're looking at my beautiful little hands, and I'm holding a box that's... that says Walgreens exclusive on it with the Green Goblin. It says for ages 3 and up. I'm 29 years old. I am in that age group. I love this
Although
thing.
it may not seem like it sometimes.
It definitely doesn't seem like it. Come to my house. You'll think my daughter is in charge of the decorating. But I love this Green Goblin. I have 2 Green Goblins. I have the one from the Spider-Verse, which is kind of the ultimate Spider-Man version. But this is the classic. This is the one right here. Like, my introduction to Spider-Man was the Green Goblin killing Gwen Stacy. I don't remember what issue it is. You probably, any nerds that are listening will come at me and say, how are you a fan and you don't know? But he kills Peter Parker's girlfriend, and it's awesome. And they did it in a movie, and it was awesome, and I loved it. But it's terrific. I wish he was on his Goblin Glider. That would have been cool, but he has a pumpkin bomb. He's menacing looking, and I love it. Enough said on that. 2 other little things I bought. I'm a huge Lego collector. Is this true, Dave?
This is true.
Is there anything in this room right now that would jump out to you as a Lego collector? Anything, one particular thing?
There's so many, I don't think. But the Venom that you just put
huge.
together is amazing.
Huge? That thing is huge. That's bigger than my dog. I seldom think it is my dog. Look at the color scheme. I don't know who's who. You know, his tongue's hanging out. But I bought, because I have the Fantastic Four, and Invisible Woman was someone I got at our very first con. The whole Fantastic Four was actually, they're like really the ones that set me off on going to these, not going to the cons, but getting them at cons. Invisible Woman, for anyone that doesn't know, she can turn, you guessed it!
Oh my god.
Invisible.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler! So I bought a version of her which is like transparent, which I thought was kind of cool. And for everybody that loves Star Wars, I found a Boba Fett for $2. And it's the classic Boba Fett, like the one that came out in 1999 that you couldn't get with the slave one. You had to buy him separately in a 3-pack with like a Han Solo and a Chewbacca for like $10 each. And then they eventually made the slave one. I had the slave one. I broke the slave one. I don't have the slave one anymore.
Just so you know, he hates Legos. I just want you to know that.
It's true.
He can't stand them at all.
I hate them so much that I swear I'm going to keep buying them out of the pure rage I have for them. I'm going to put myself in debt because I hate them.
He's buying them just so other people can't have them. He hates them that much.
I'm Vincent Kennedy McMahon, damn it, and the Legos are the independent scene. Yeah, I'm a huge Lego guy. So yeah, those are just 2, which is astonishing too. Because I go to these things and I buy like 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 of them at a time.
We could do like an MTV Cribs of just a Lego edition of your office.
There's not enough MTV in the world for that. You got too many teen moms on that shit now. And the last thing I bought, I'm a huge Batman fan in general. Dave is. He came wearing a Batman shirt today. Behind me, once we start doing video, wink, wink, you'll see it. You'll see it. Well, you'll see it all. You'll see the wrestling. You'll see the comics. You'll see the Legos. You'll see the whatever I just said. All of it again. But behind me is a wall, just a wall of Batman. Tons of Batman stuff, from blueprints, from the Arkham Asylum to an invitation to Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle's wedding. Like, that's cool. Mark T, thanks again. Tons of Batman stuff. I got tons of Batman stuff. I'm a huge Two-Face fan. I got a bunch of Two-Face stuff everywhere. But what I got was Batman Forever. I showed you this, Dave. I showed you all this stuff. The Batman Forever Laserdisc. For those that don't know what a Laserdisc is, I don't either. I grew up when they were popular, and I don't know.
Pretty much a huge DVD is pretty much.
What do you play them in? A fucking what?
I'm a child of that era, and I have no fucking clue. I was a VHS kid, so. And
for all of you millennials, VHS stands for VCR. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool. It's
about the size of an LP, a record.
It's exactly what it looks like. It looks like an LP. It's not even an illustration. The photo on it is so like crystal clear and vibrant for being 20 years old. This guy must have kept this vacuum sealed 20,000 leagues under the sea with a squid protecting it. This is like, I think I'm the first human to ever touch it. I'm gonna put gloves on. It's just so awesome. Like the back of it, Jim Carrey looks like a loon because he is. You got Nicole Kidman, who Dave thinks was amazing in this movie. He said,
"Don't you be lying."
He went on a tangent of saying, "You know who Nicole Kidman reminds me of? A rock, not the Rock who has charisma, but a rock that is just on the ground." He didn't say it like that, but he could have.
I could have.
She's a potato. There's no personality in her at all. I mean,
it's like watching paint dry.
Have you watched it lately? That was a good episode last week of watching paint dry. Nicole Kidman was on, and it was so-so, but it was good. You got Chris O'Donnell, that was Dick Grayson, Robin, my Robin, not Burt Ward, but my Robin, a really weird Batmobile that looks like it's run on Tesseract fuel.
And looks like you couldn't open it up to get into it.
Right, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't have all that exposed. And that's not practical. That's not a practical fin.
Yeah, not.
But sure. Val Kilmer had a mole. And Jim Carrey had one too because he was trying to pretend to be Val Kilmer in this movie. I could go on. It's terrific. It's so awesome. I bought it for $10. I wish I bought the other ones. Anybody that knows what a Laserdisc is and how to play it, will you please message Dave and I at the Wrestling Comic Cast or Comic
WrestleCast at gmail.com.
Yeah, will you just email us, tell us what the fuck it is, because I'm not Googling it. Don't you dare tell me just to Google it.
Put it in the comments of YouTube. That'll work
somewhere,
too.
Please. And maybe guy out there lives in your mom's basement guy. Maybe you could tell me what this is.
Yeah, we'll take comments from our haters. Tell us what it is.
You fuel me. This is just so awesome. I am gushing over it, going off about it, but it's awesome. And I'm gonna go back to Legos real quick. It was my birthday last week.
Off the rails again,
folks. Off the rails, folks. It was my birthday last week, and Dave got me these sets from China, and they came complete with hazmat suits for your opening, so you don't get any powdery substance in your face and kill you.
You don't want SARS?
I've had enough of that in my life. I have a Lego city that I'm building. Like, it's like my legacy. And it's pretty badass. Like, it's pretty cool.
It is amazing.
I won't lie. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but toot. So Dave found these really cool, little city sets online. I've never seen them, and I'm a Lego guy. One is an Apple store, which is just cool. It looks like the front of an Apple store. It's got the Apple logo, blah, blah, blah. And the other one is a KFE. Now, for legal rights, it's supposed to be KFC. It looks like Commissioner Colonel Sanders. It's awesome. I love it. And I built one already. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna build the other one and put it in somewhere.
If I could find a Popeye's chicken one, he would be in heaven.
I'm just gonna paint that orange. I'm gonna paint it orange, folks. Welcome to Popeyes. I love Popeye's chicken. We went there last night. I still have some in my fridge. I just warmed up some biscuits.
So gift cards are welcomed, I'm just saying.
No, for real? Do they do them for Popeyes?
I'm sure they do.
Somebody create that out there, a gift card for Popeyes, because I'll buy them for myself. I will put $50 on it out of my own money and go there and spend my gift card. Sure. It's recyclable money. It makes sense to somebody. That's really it for the Comic-Con. I've probably been done talking about that for a while now. But there's another one, like we said, Saratoga Comic-Con. Coming up next month.
I believe it's in the end of April, yeah.
Okay. It's going to be a busy weekend because we're going to meet Barry Windham.
Yep, and I'm meeting Scott Steiner that weekend.
And he's going to meet the mathematician Scott Steiner because he's got like a 3 3/3 of
I have a 144% chance of meeting Scott Steiner.
Oh, man. Don't.
Because I have my ticket.
What? The room is spinning, or did I fall? Yeah, so, and I'm going to Boston Comic-Con. I just want to plug that. I'm going to Boston Comic-Con in August. I'm going to pay for my ticket this upcoming week. It'll be $130. But it covers, like, my friends Jesse and Mr. J were going over it. That's what I went with last year. We're going over it with me today and just kind of showing me all the cool stuff. Like, you get exclusive this, and that for, getting the ticket now and stuff like that. So that'd be pretty exciting. And I'm excited because we're going to get a hotel that's attached, or they already did, I think, a hotel that's attached to the convention center. So it's like no traveling needed.
So this will be a whole episode because he's going to fawn over this whole thing, just so you know.
It will be something. Because last year when I went, wow. But that's a whole different thing.
We talked about it a little bit in the first episode.
We did. And if we talk about conventions again, that's a conversation for that time, not right now. Saturday, May 11th, when I was at the convention today, actually, there's a store in Johnstown called Toying Around. Dave and I really like their booth or their setup when we go to these comic conventions because they're approachable.
Reasonable priced.
Yep. They mark their stuff, which we like because we hate asking the question for whatever reason. They're all very friendly. They seem to recognize you and remember you, which is it's nice. It's comfortable.
They have really cool T-shirts for their shop.
They really do. They really do. I have like 4 of them. I have the Stone Cold Steve Austin one where he's looking like Krang.
Yep.
The Purple Slimer Ghostbuster one. The Michelangelo Ninja Turtle one. And the Walking Dead Negan one.
And I have the Deadpool one where he's a zombie and he's eating a CM Punk ice cream bar, which is tremendous.
Where are they, damn it? But those guys are doing, on Saturday, May 11th, from 10 to 4, a block party, which I went to last year, and it was rainy, but it was fun. Like, it didn't dampen the mood. They had tents up. What they do is, I don't know what the street is they're on, so you'll have to put it in your GPS or Google them. Google, send us something free. We're promoting you, apparently. I don't know if that's how endorsements work. But they close down the entire street that they're on. They have vendors on each side of the roads. There was a guy there last year just doing, like, magic tricks. People selling stuff. They had people dressed up as Ghostbusters. It's like a small little mini, like, flea market / Comic-Con. It's pretty cool. Their store is awesome. If you're a collector of like vintage toys, new toys, comic books,
pretty much anything pop culture that you're looking for.
Seriously, you can go there. They have pinball machines. They have a Batman pinball machine that I am absolutely retarded for. Like, I'm sorry for being politically incorrect for saying that word, but my brain floats down when I'm around it. And like I love it. It's awesome. That store's great. Plus, on a personal note, when I was there last year, they had raffle baskets during this block party. They had probably like 4 or 5 raffle baskets. One of them was a Marvel one, which was like littered with like, comic books and like a couple of toys. They had a DC one, same concept. I think they had 5. They had those 2. They had a Star Wars one. I think they had just a random one, like anime. And then they had a Rick and Morty one. And anybody that knows me knows I like my Rick and Morty. I just binge watched all 3 seasons this past week while binge watching wrestling. Multitask. I won it. I won the gift basket, and I was so excited for it. I have the gun somewhere. There's
and
a ray
you even
gun.
got to exchange a print for the one that you actually wanted. Yeah.
I did. They were nice enough to let me exchange something out of the basket. It was still a Rick and Morty thing, but it was, can I have this instead of that? And they're like, yeah, sure, absolutely. And They let me keep the basket, too, which was nice because it was a little hamper that I use. I put my clothes in it sometimes, so double win. And it just was awesome. It was great. I don't know what happened, but the energy has changed dramatically some way, somehow. I think there might be something in my Pepsi. It's zero sugar, but I think it's...
I think Off the Rails needs to be our tagline for sure.
It's crazy. It just... check them out. Like, when I was there today at the con, they had like a 2 foot, 3 foot tall Leonardo Ninja Turtle that I was like, yo, you want to fuck around? And he was like, no. So, like, you never know. Just do it. Nike. So I guess that's... Do you have anything that you've brought... Okay.
I'm letting you roll on this one.
So what we can transition into now, because the Comic-Con, that really... The whole conversation's kind of... That's it. You know, really. We talked about the whole thing, went around at 360 and flipped it upside down, checked its undercarriage, looked under the hood, you know, licked the spark plug, licked the battery. I don't know what I'm even talking about anymore. But we're going to go right into James Gunn.
Neither do I, so it's all good.
But this is what's fun about it. I like this. I like that, because I don't know what's going to make it on there, but if you people are hearing this and you are enjoying this, let us know this.
It's going to fucking make it on. I'm just saying it right now.
Perfect. Because I've got friends. That's all I want to say. People don't think I have friends, but I do. I've got friends that find this kind of stuff funny. Like, I almost, like, when I did the Booker T, like, almost dropped the N-bomb, I had, my buddy Mr. J was like, that shit's funny. And it's like, hey, you know what? We could do random stuff like that and throw stuff in, so we're going to do that. You know, and you're not going to worry about there being a microphone so close to my face that we're making love to it, Jerry Lynn. But yeah, we'll talk about James Gunn. Now, for people that don't know, James Gunn he's most famously directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He has done other movies. One of my favorite movies is, what the hell was the name of it? Something with a B. What the hell was it? Something Effect.
The Butterfly Effect?
No. I have to Google this. I really do, because if I'm going to talk about it, I gotta fucking know. Come on. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I want to guess it before I read it. Bell something. The Belco. God damn it. I couldn't figure that out. All right. So James Gunn is most notably, known for directing the Guardians of the Galaxy movies 1 and 2 for Disney. But he's also directed, I said, he wrote Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
He directed the Belko Experiment, which I don't know if you've seen that.
I've never seen that.
Really, really cool movie. I'll give a quick synopsis of it. It's about all these people all over the world work for this corporation called the Belko Corporation. I think that's what it is. Must be. And I don't really know what their jobs are. Some of them look like scientists. Some of them just look like office people. It's a huge skyscraper. But all these skyscrapers are in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, what the fuck? Where are these normal looking people just driving off in the desert to this skyscraper that's surrounded by military people? You come to find out that this whole thing has been an experiment for a year. They want these people to get used to each other, to know each other, to trust each other or not trust each other, because at the end of the day, they're going to turn each other on each other and say that everybody in this building, you have so many hours to kill so many people or all of you will start to die. So you got people turning on each other, blah, 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 blah. By the end of the movie, you realize this didn't just happen here. This happened over here. This happened over here. Yep. It's one of those movies that's like, oh, fuck, I didn't see that coming. Really cool movie. James Gunn directed it. I really enjoyed it. I didn't tweet him, but I said something to him on Facebook about it, and he ignored me. Whatever. Big time celebrity. But Michael Rooker, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy, who was also in that movie, replied to me on Facebook.
That's awesome.
Which I saved it on my phone, and it was somebody. This was a year or two after Guardians 2 passed. If you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, Michael Rooker's Yondu character, Mary Poppins, dies in that movie. There was a picture on Facebook of Michael Rooker with a kid dressed up as Yondu from a comic book convention, and somebody, commented and said, oh, look, it's Michael Rooker and Mary Poppins, y'all. And this was a year and a half, 2 years later. Now, I hate on things, but not because I want to be an asshole. It's just because shut the fuck up. That's my thing. So I commented on it, and I said, it's like, geez, man, this joke is dead, kind of like Yondu. I thought that was pretty funny. Michael Rooker himself, because this is his legit Facebook page, comments right underneath me and says, ignore John, he is not the king of the internet. hey, how about that? So I screenshotted it and I kept it because I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
So yeah, James Gunn wrote, directed both Guardians of the Galaxy movies. What'd you think of them? You liked them?
I liked them a lot.
Right,
Yeah.
they were good movies. Which one did you like more?
I liked one more.
Did you?
Actually,
Why'd you like one? For what reason?
I don't know, just seeing the origin of it and everything, and seeing them all come together. I think.
Right, there's something different about a sequel because you now know what you're expecting.
Yeah.
Opposed to, oh my god, I was not expecting any of this. So I know what you mean there. I like the second one more because of Kurt Russell.
Right.
Tango and Cash. Kurt Russell is God because of Tango and Cash, and you can't not mention Big Trouble in Little China. Come on.
Escape from New York.
Escape from
LA.
Oh my God, John Carpenter. Thank you very much for those movies.
Yep.
Off the rails. About a year ago, he was fired from Disney.
Yep.
Which is a family company. We'll talk about something different later on. It is a family company, and James Gunn was fired because of offensive. That's the word I'm looking for. To certain groups, because I know certain people don't get offended by everything, so I do want to include them. Don't want to offend them. Certain groups I could see the point of where they could get offended by this. I guess like 10 years prior, he had a different sense of humor. He was making jokes about pedophilia and yada yada yada, and there was pictures, not pictures of him in sexual acts with kids, but like just pictures that made people question it even further. Yeah. And you couldn't hide it anymore because it was all over the place. And so Disney did, in my opinion, the right decision by letting him go. It's the right decision in an image capacity.
Yeah, PR.
Right.
Yeah.
But not a right decision in like, oh, fuck that, man. You guys, you just lost, like, a godfather of this franchise.
Yep, without a doubt.
So, but, hey, like Queen says, the show must go on, right?
Yep.
And Disney is a machine. It's going to keep going just like WWE. If you know what I mean by that, it's referred to as the machine.
Yep.
And it doesn't care if you stop. It's going to keep going. During that time, they let him go, and like everybody else that loses their job, you need to go look for another one. His publicity could have been negative surrounding this, but it could have also been, hey, it's publicity. We could get this guy, and people are going to just jump ship and look at what we're doing because we have his name. I don't know if that's the case. Warner Brothers did that, though. Warner Brothers got James Gunn to do, I don't know if it's called The Suicide Squad or just Suicide Squad. Or no, it couldn't be Suicide Squad because that's what the very first one was. Yep. So I think this one is called The Suicide Squad, which is stupid because you've got The Suicide Squad, The Batman, The Joker, like, what the fuck?
Did you trademark the word the?
Can I say it, or I gotta pay a nickel to Warner Brothers every, I'm not gonna say the, I'll say the. I can get away with it. The Suicide Squad. Now, we talked about in the last one my plans for a Suicide Squad 2 movie. I think, whatever, I don't know where he's gonna go with this, but I do know he has recasted people and so on and so forth. He's still working with this movie, and he's doing a Superman-esque movie for, I think, Paramount or Columbia Pictures, one of those two.
The Brightburn movie?
Yeah. So he's got he's got one definitive comic book movie that you can definitely say. Brightburn, I don't know if it's an adaptation. I don't know if there's even a source material for it, but it's the concept of a dark Superman. So you got him doing two DC-esque things. Well, about a week ago, all over any social media outlets, James Gunn is back with Disney. Not saying he's done with DC. He's still doing them. Like, that's a contractual obligation. He has to do Suicide Squad 2, or whatever they're going to call that. He has to do that first before he can start doing Guardians 3. Which, come on. Pie to the face. He's already got the third movie fucking written. He's just got to wait to direct it. And come on.
And the turnaround time for a movie is not what it used to be either, so they can pump those things out quicker.
Exactly. Which, to me, I'm excited that he's back because Drax Batista is back, and that he's a standout character in that movie. Like, if you don't know who Batista is from wrestling, me personally, I didn't think he had the acting chops. I feel like right after the first Guardians movie, his movies that he was in were better, and he was better in those movies. Hotel Artemis was awesome. He was I forget what they call him in it. Everest is his name because he's just a mountain. I think that's where they get it, was Mount Everest. But he calls himself the medical assistant or something like that, because he is. He's like a nurse. He's walking around the whole movie in scrubs. he's fighting somebody or somebody's about to fight him, and he's like, no, I'm like the medical assistant or whatever, and then just beats the shit out of the guy, and it's like, oh, cool, that's awesome. I think he's really cool. I like Batista a lot.
As the Drax character, the way they've expanded that is amazing.
Is phenomenal. He's owned it. Like, I never would have thought Dave Bautista, the wrestler, would have as much screen time as he did in a movie like Infinity War.
And have that goofy side to him, that could pull that off.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited because that's a definitive he will be back, because it was up in question, in my opinion, if they'd bring Drax back, if Gunn didn't come back.
And you hate hearing the speculation and not knowing for sure.
Right. I mean, it's fun to talk about it, but at the end of the day, if this is something you're passionate and you like to think about and talk about, it'd drive you nuts.
Yep.
Because it's like, fuck, just give me an answer or something, you know what I mean? Other things with James Gunn and Disney being back together, what does that say about your company? Like, I didn't specifically see anything coming out where Disney was like, we'd like to apologize for letting James Gunn go under false pretense. I haven't seen anything of that nature, so I don't know what the relationship is there. My only opinion is, and I said this earlier, Marvel, Kevin Feige regrets. He didn't have the choice. He didn't fire him.
Right.
He didn't fire him. Bob Iger, the guy that is like the president owner of Disney, that's his call at the end of the day. But whoever put the idea in somebody's head or just said it right out loud, but I think it is Marvel and Disney knew, like, oh my God, look what he did for us. He's now over there with them. He's going to do what he did for us for them. And they're our competition. We don't want it. They're on a stride right now with Wonder Woman being decent, Aquaman being just phenomenal. Straight awesome. Yeah. And I'm a Marvel guy, and I loved Aquaman. That shit was awesome. Nicole Kidman, you killed it. You killed it, girl. You killed it like a dead potato. She sucked. She sucked in that movie. She was so lame. She was like a dead fish, and that's a pun intended. A dead ass fish. A fish's dead ass. That was her. You ain't kidding no one, Kidman. Billy. Tori Wilson. Just crazy with it. But I think they looked at that as like competition. And I don't know, again, you don't know.
Right.
You don't have a clue, but
it's good to speculate, though.
It is, and I don't know. I have an overactive imagination, so I'm constantly thinking of like different scenarios that could possibly or not possibly be happening. I don't know. It's exciting that he's back, because there were huge plans for a Guardians 3 that he had created. Like, there's a character called Adam Warlock. They teased him at the end of Guardians 2, where Aisha, I think her name was in the movie, in the comic, she is from... She's not. No, I'm sorry. She's not. There is another species of aliens. I cannot remember the name of them at all for the life of me right now. But they create her and him, the perfect beings. But in Guardians, they made it seem like the perfect beings already existed. That's why they were all gold. Yeah. That's why everything's gold. That's like a perfect thing. And so it's a different take on it. But she created Adam Warlock, which in Infinity Gauntlet, he wears the gauntlet. Obviously, they didn't go that route in the movies because they're coming to the end with Infinity Saga. Right. But yeah, people want that. So and I don't know if they would have went that way if they didn't have James Gunn, if they would have just completely redirected it and done something different for a third movie. But it's like, cool, Adam Warlock's coming back, because Adam Warlock is cool as shit. When people see this guy, he is like super powered, over the top, like he's just, I don't even want to go into it. He's just awesome. He's really, really cool. He's a perfect Guardians of the Galaxy character. I'd like to see them go in more cosmic directions with James Gunn, because he really did create the cosmic universe in the MCU. Yeah. Doctor Strange, that movie had a very cosmic look to it, but that movie was like plucked out of Jack Kirby's head. Those images in that movie when he's in the dark dimension, or whatever the hell they called it, where things look like blueberries and shit like that, yep. And what's the crunch berries? Everything looked like giant crunch berries, and that is exactly, Jack Kirby was the other creator of Marvel with Stan Lee. Yep. Like, that is exactly how Doctor Strange comic books look, and Guardians of the Galaxy has that familiar feel. Captain Marvel, which we're going to talk about here in a very few minutes, that has that cosmic feel, and it can go beyond that cosmic world. Now that you're going to be introducing the Fantastic Four, they deal with cosmic shit on a daily. Yep. Like, I love that world. I want to see more weird, bizarre, Star Wars-y worlds with creatures that are like what the fuck am I looking at? And worlds that are like, holy cow, I can't believe this exists. I want to see that.
They have so much to play with.
They do.
It's ridiculous. It really is.
They do. So much is at their dispense right now. I mean, even with the X-Men, a lot of their stuff is cosmic. The thing with Dark Phoenix, I know the movies aren't related, but the Dark Phoenix is a very cosmic. That's the power. It's a cosmic energy.
Yep.
The Shi'ar Empire with their McCann crystals, like they're fucking cosmic and stuff. There's so much. Like I'm excited for the future of the MCU. I don't know if you can tell that, but like I am thrilled beyond the max. So Adam Warlock is a perfect fit. I mean, you can do Nova. When you do Galactus over here, you're gonna have Silver Surfer. You can have his other heralds like Fire Lord and stuff. And it's the Gladiator. There's so many. It's endless. And they're going to do a movie called The Eternals, which they hinted at them in the first Guardians movie when the Collector shows what the world was like, after the civilization. They show that giant creature. Yep. That's a celestial. But it's the same. For people that don't know, it'll be the same fucking thing in the movies. It's going to be the people, the creators of all. That's really what it will be. It'll be really cool. That's going to step into the world of the cosmos. I'm just so thrilled for this stuff. It's going to be so much fun. But yeah, and we'll segue back into the James Gunn conversation of what the future is with him in that world. But right now, we are going to, we'll just do the spoiler.
All right.
Now again, this is a spoiler review. So if you have yet to see the movie, do not listen any further. Carol Danvers is in the end credits of the movie. I don't care. Don't listen anymore. That's a huge spoiler. I ruined it if you didn't. But I warned you. But there it is. We'll talk about that in a second. I gave my non-spoiler review last time, and it was pretty basic of, just a general idea. I want you to give me your general thought on it first, and then we'll cut into the fat.
I don't know. I feel like they tried too hard to make her sarcastic and funny, and her personality just did not fit at all. The characters didn't seem as dynamic as most of the MCU characters do. I don't know. It just did not feel as much of a Marvel movie as the others do.
That's a good way of saying it, because I saw a comment on Facebook or somewhere that said, Captain Marvel feels like a feature-length Netflix movie instead of a feature-length theater movie.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Right.
But it just, I don't know. Nick Fury seems a little subdued. I mean, I know it's an origin and stuff, but it just, I don't know. It was, the stuff with the cat was funny. The stuff, all that. I love the fact that his pager is the pager that you see, in Infinity War. It's not one that S.H.I.E.L.D. came up with. This is his actual pager.
Right, and she created it.
She modified it, which I thought was really cool.
Yep.
And I thought that, the 90s, references and all that stuff, the music really added to it. I don't know, it didn't have the same feeling as the other ones do.
Yeah, it was,
for me.
It was very lackluster. And I don't even know I liked the movie. I didn't care for Brie Larson. She just didn't, like when you first see Iron Man, I don't care if you just see it for the first time right now and you fall in love with it, or if you saw it for the first time in 2008 and you fell in love with it. The first time you see him as that character, you are 100% sold.
Yep.
That's not Robert Downey Jr. That is Tony Stark playing Robert Downey Jr. Like, I mean, their casting in all these movies has been mwah. Even Edward Norton as Bruce Banner was good, but now that I've seen Mark Ruffalo, there is no other.
Nope.
Sorry, Bill Bixby, you were great back in the day. You really, really were great. I have the whole show of movies. I love the original Hulk with Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. I love that. Mark Ruffalo has become Hulk and Bruce Banner, just like how Michael Keaton was Batman and Bruce Wayne. Yeah. You're playing multiple characters. You're not just the Hulk and Bruce Banner. You are both. And he killed it. He was awesome as it. Like, Chris Evans, never would have thought that guy would be someone I idolize in a way of like, I want to be him. Like, I want to be Chris Evans. I think that guy is literally Captain America. It's crazy. Hemsworth is Thor. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. He is basically a playboy, bachelor guy. Like,
it's pretty much Robert Downey Jr. but it's really Tony Stark at the same time. Yep.
And especially in Iron Man 2, when I know the comic they took the source from, or some of it in Iron Man 2 was Demon in a Bottle, which was all about Tony Stark just becoming a raging alcoholic and can't be Iron Man anymore, and Rhodey steps in and takes the Iron Man armor, and that's what they were kind of doing,
right? With
Rhodey stealing the armor, but obviously went in a different direction, and Tony being completely drunk, almost not that whole movie, but he was a slob and a slush in that movie. Nothing against Robert Downey Jr., but he lived that life for a long time. Yeah. So he knew how to be that, and that's casting to me. That's casting the person to be the role, not just an actor to play the role.
Yep.
So this Brie Larson, I've only seen her, honestly, she was in 21 Jump Street, and I didn't even fucking know it. I didn't know that was her.
Yeah.
And Kong, where the fuck was your personality in this that you had in Kong?
Yeah.
I thought Kong was sweet with her. I thought she was badass in that.
Yep.
This, I liked some of the sense of humor she had of but it got old fast.
Yeah.
You're not fucking better than everybody else. You're not smarter than everybody else.
They were pushing it way too hard through the whole movie.
You said you liked the music. I didn't mind it. I didn't care for, I think it was the Gwen Stefani song?
Oh, the one, the No Doubt song?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I just thought that was not a bad song. I just didn't think it was the right one for a fight scene.
I think it was good for setting period and,
Right. Oh, no, perfect. But I was like, really, that's the best fighting one you could have picked?
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, without a doubt.
But it was cool. It was nostalgic, but I didn't go into that movie wanting that to be all it was nostalgic. Right. This is the spoiler part now. Captain Marvel, it was her origin.
Yep.
I don't really understand how she got her power. I mean, I know she got it from that, basically that space battery. Why didn't that kill her?
Yeah, how was she able to withstand that?
Right. And how did she... Why was she able to withstand, absorb the energy and not just pass through her? I mean, I guess that's kind of me being a contradictive comic book fan. Because if I say that, and I'm on record of saying it right now, if I question that, I have to question the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Because they're the same thing. A cosmic blast passes through all of them, alters their DNA, and it is what it is. So, you know what? At this point... That's off the table. I will not question that again. That's off the table. And that's how I come to rationality. That's literally how things... I have to say them to myself. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense.
That's why this is so much fun.
Exactly. So that is off the table right at this very second. I don't know her origin from the comics. I've never read a Captain Marvel comic in my life. Not her. Ms. Marvel, I've read a few. Marvel, I've read a bunch. But not her, not Carol Danvers. I don't know anything of her. The only comic I even do want with her in it is Civil War 2.
Right.
Just to see what that's all about. So I don't know if it was even close to being accurate with her. I know the Marvel character that they had in it, that was the woman that was Annette Bening or whatever the hell actress that was the twist. That was a huge twist in the movie. People, including myself, thought Jude Law was going to be the character named Marvel.
Right.
The male version of Captain Marvel. And he wasn't. He was Jan Rog. And if you want to know how to spell that, Y-O-N-ROGG. Jan Rog for a name. But they had the woman there. I think that's her name, Annette Bening.
I think so.
She was Marvel. And again, so for people that think I'm hating on because it's a woman thing, it's not. That they changed it. It doesn't even bother me that they changed it. That's cool with me. I don't care. Character served her purpose. And that's all I care about. It told a good story. I liked this girl being affected by something and then you not knowing till the end that she was basically manipulated to be like, you come with us. And then the Kree blood was injected into her and all of her memories were basically wiped away. She was created to be a super soldier for them.
Yeah, I do like seeing more about the Kree. I thought that was a really cool part of the movie.
I think that's awesome, and that I have an idea where that could go or something.
Even the small appearances by Ronan, I thought were pretty cool.
Exactly. Ronan being in the movie, and Korath, the black guy. I wanted to look his name up that one time we were talking about him, but I forgot to again. To see him in it, it was cool callbacks. It was these people existed and not just in one movie.
Yep.
And it's cool to see those people reoccur. Not specifically Ronan and Korath, but supporting cast like that and not just like, oh, Mark Ruffalo was in the Iron Man movie. It's like, no, I kind of expect that. They always hang out.
Yeah.
Like, you get to see other characters that were one-off characters. It's like, oh, cool. Like, Ronan, before he went and started working with Thanos, was basically like a military, like, sergeant guy.
Taking orders from other people.
Exactly. And even his whole personality was different. He was very, yes, I will do what I'm
very
told.
Subdued,
Until the end.
Yep.
I think that they're going to do Captain Marvel movies as timepieces. So you can't just say, well, where the fuck was she for the last 10 years? I think you'll get to see her with the Skrulls. If they do a Captain Marvel 2, it's going to be her with the Skrulls, and I think it's going to be Ronan on pursuit of her.
That's cool.
And I think that would be a really cool concept, because then you can see the progression of Ronan, maybe how he comes in contact with Thanos. Then you can see more Thanos. You know what I mean? Without continuing these characters currently with the modern story, you can show me the backstory and be like,
it always adds to it.
Exactly. And I think that's really good. But you got to fucking make sure it all adds up, though, because the Tesseract. People, if you know what the Tesseract is, it's got the Time Stone in it. It was presented it was first seen in Captain America 1. Led to be believed that it was lost in the ocean. I don't know what ocean. Probably the Pacific. I'm assuming, if he's coming from Europe, but I don't know if he was headed towards America.
Yeah.
I think he was, because I think the plane was on autopilot for America. So if he's coming from Europe, I'm pretty sure he was coming from on the side of the Pacific. So I think not that even matters. Who the fuck cares? I'm probably wrong. It was in the Indian Ocean, damn it, the Red Sea. But we believed as fans it was found in the ocean, because that's what I think Sam Jackson says in the first Avengers. Is like, oh, Tony's dad found this, or Tony found this in the ocean. But at the end of Captain Marvel, which is basically a prequel to all of this, minus Cap, because it wouldn't be a prequel to Captain America 1, it is eaten. Yes, it's eaten by a flurkin, which is a cat with tentacles that come out of its mouth. You heard it right. And one of the end credit scenes for this movie, there's two. This is the one I talked about last time that didn't really progress the story, but it gave you kind of like, oh, okay. But you're still like, wait a minute, though. Is at the end of it, the cat is standing on Nick Fury's desk and pukes up, which I don't understand how it didn't rip its throat up. It's puking up a square cube made of glass. But maybe that's the alien aspect of the cat. It can withstand it. I don't know. So I don't know where you go from there, because it's sitting on his desk now. So
unless somebody comes in and takes it.
And then just goes and throws it in the ocean and says, fuck that! But Sam Jackson's a liar. Oh, not Sam Jackson. Nick Fury's a liar. And I'm going to tell you why. When he first meets the Avengers, he tells them, you are all part of a... Well, he's talking to Thor and saying, we created these weapons from Hydra because of you and the gods up there. Which is bullshit, because... Well, no, I guess that part never isn't bullshit. But this part is. He says to the group, you are all part of a bigger universe and you just don't know it yet. Okay, this is 10 years later, and you're just aware of Iron Man and these type of people. Why the fuck have you not mentioned Captain Marvel to them?
Right.
Why didn't you mention, well, you guys are part of a bigger universe because, like, 10 years ago, me and Phil were out on this fucking Men in Black-esque looking mission to Blockbuster to see what was going down, and this bitch in a rubber suit, like, was like, I need to find, I don't even know what she needed to find.
And I knew about the goddamn Tesseract back then.
Right, exactly. So that's a little wishy-washy to me. That's like, what the fuck? I liked in it how they teased Sam Jackson's character, Nick Fury, losing his eye.
Yep.
Where, like, first it was, like, in a fight, and he kind of, like, grabs his eye, and you're like, oh, shit, he lost his eye. And then it's like, nope. And you're waiting for it. That is literally something I kept waiting for the whole movie. I was like, when's he going to lose that eye, man? Because I'm, like, waiting for that shit to, like, fall out of his head. Dave, how does he lose his eye?
The cat scratches his eye.
The cat scratches his eye. And one of the funniest moments in the movie is that moment. Because up to that point, this cat and Sam Jackson are like two lovers out at sea on a yacht in a beautiful sunset with like Chardonnay. You couldn't separate them if you had the jaws of life. It was cool. But just one moment, this cat is like, fuck you, Nick. I'm done with your shit. And just claws his face, and the gashes are nasty. And all he does is like, ooh! that hurt. And he's like, oh, it's just a little cat scratch. And then they look over at Talos, the Skrull, and he's just like, just shaking his head like, oh no, that's not just a scratch. You just got fucking herpes too. You know, something devastating like.
Yep. Yeah.
Which I'm not really understanding like what was so devastating about it. I mean, even if it was just a regular cat scratch, he lost his eye either way. It's not like it mutated him. It's not like he's got tentacles coming out of his mouth. So, like, what was so bad about it? Did it give him some kind of disease?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because I could have just chalked it up as, oh, he got scratched in the fucking eye, and, like, it ripped his cornea out. Like, it's hanging by the socket kind of, you know, silly thought like that. I thought that was great, though. Like, I know a lot of people were pissed off. Like, that's how he lost his eye? Like, well, he did say in Cap 2 that last time he trusted somebody, he lost his eye, and he trusted that cat.
Yep.
Wow. Like, you kitty.
And if you aren't used to twists like that in these movies by now, why the fuck are you watching them?
I think at one point over time, it seemed like, okay, he's going to lose his eye to the cat. You almost believed it, but you didn't. Like, I could see that, but nah, they won't do that. Like, no, they did it, which was, I liked it. I thought it was kind of clever. The Skrulls themselves are a huge, huge deal. They are, just like in the movie, shapeshifters. They are at war in the comics with the Kree. They're bad, though. In the movie, I'm not going to say they made them good. They just made them sympathetic.
Right.
And the people that they were going against were bad. So when you have two bad guys fighting each other, one of them is going to look better than the other.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes sense, yeah.
To me, that makes a lot of sense. And the Skrulls are not a one-and-done gimmick. No fucking way in the MCU will they be one-and-done. They are huge. There is a character called the Super Skrull, which is a creation by, like, I don't know if there's, like, specific names, but, like, the hierarchy of the Skrull population. They create this Super Skrull that has all the abilities of the Fantastic Four. It can fly, turn on to fire. It can do all the abilities at once.
That's cool.
Like, he can be rock solid while stretching, lit on fire, invisible. Legitimately. Like, so that will be in the MCU. If you do not do that, oh my god, what a missed opportunity the Super Skrull is, especially for Fantastic Four. So when I heard the Skrulls were even going to be in this movie, that was my first thought. I was like, well, there you go. That's your Fantastic Four setup or something. Like, that's perfect. And the Skrulls are huge in the comic books because they are part of this issue, or this story arc that's called The Secret Invasion, where they have been living on Earth for years, disguised or portrayed as somebody you may love, or may have loved or liked, or someone that's in your personal life. And I remember when they did that, the first character that was revealed to be an alien Skrull was Elektra. Elektra was killed off in the Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And they're all the heroes are standing around her, and she literally morphs into this green alien. And everyone's like, what the fuck is this? And then that just skyrocketed. Nobody could trust anybody. Everybody. It was, the best way I can describe it is the Red Scare. Communism. That is 100% to me, I think, where they got the idea is communism. Like, not so much spies, but like the enemy is sleeping with you and you just don't know it.
Yep.
And really cool concept. I mean,
I like how they only had the short-term memory too. They couldn't tell you anything about the person.
Exactly,
past,
so
really
it could kind of give them away.
Yep.
Which, when they revealed Coulson was a Skrull in that moment, I'm pretty sure I jumped out of my seat. I was like, Coulson's a Skrull! Like, just, it was really, really cool. I don't know if they're going to go that way with the Skrulls in the movie, but like if they do a 2, it would be cool. I don't know where you could go with that other than just what I said about Ronan pursuing it.
Well, with how much money it made, I'm sure they'll probably do another one.
Because I don't want to see Captain Marvel movie take place in 1995, and then her sequel take place in 2020.
Right.
It's like, what happened in between there? Like, your hair's short then, and now it's long. What happened? Why didn't you go to the barber? You didn't get time? Like, fill me in. Like, I want to see this movie. You know, where's that flirkin? Like,
yeah, the cat scratches eyes. Can it cut your hair?
Right. Like, what the flirkin, man? Where's that cat at? You know. We talked about, you know, the origin, the Skrulls, the eye loss, the Tesseract, and the Stan Lee thing. Stan Lee had a cameo in it. This is the first one he's had, other than Into the Spider-Verse, that's a live-action cameo. Now, Kevin Smith, who you're a fan of, I'm a fan of,
without a doubt.
I don't know if you've seen his reaction to his acknowledgement in Captain Marvel, because in that movie, if it goes unnoticed, in that movie, Stan Lee's cameo is Captain Marvel goes on a bus in the city to chase an elderly woman down that is a Skrull. And let me tell you, I don't know if I've ever laughed any harder than when she rocked that old woman and people in the bus are looking at her like, that lady just fucking clobbered that old woman. I laughed so hard at that because, like, those were real reactions. It was like, do we help that old lady? Like, she just got fucking slammed, right? So, anywho, as Captain Marvel is going onto the bus, she doesn't know that the Skrull's an old woman yet. She's looking for whatever will give away that moment. But you see a shot, and it's a long shot of, like, down the bus aisle. You see people sitting behind and people sitting in front, and you see what is to believe to be Stan Lee.
Yeah.
You see the top of his head, you see his hands, you see the traditional tan jacket he's in, and what he's holding is a script for the movie Mallrats, which he was in. He was in it. He had a really great scene with Jason Lee, a.k.a. Brody, in that movie. That's Kevin Smith, I think, second movie he made. Clerks and then Mallrats.
I think so, yeah.
Mallrats is great. Michael Rooker's in that one, too. You know, tie it all together. He eats poop. He eats poop in that movie. It's funny. Brian O'Hara's in that movie. We met him. Right? Is that his last name? O'Halloran. Yep. We met him. Yada, yada, yada. Jason Mewes is in it. Met him
too.
But anyways, so he's reading the script for Mallrats, which is, and also makes sense because that movie came out in, I think, 96. Or maybe it was at the end of 95. So the time was perfect that Stan Lee would be reading a script. Now this is where it gets kind of wonky. That's the only shot they show of him like that. The next scene you see, the next frame, is Captain Marvel pulling down the newspaper. And you don't see her hand pull it down in front of him. You see her pull it down from a shot of him looking at her. And then the next thing you know, it cuts to an image of Stan Lee looking up, smiling. I think that is stock footage because it just seems out of place. It just doesn't seem... He doesn't say anything to her.
Right.
Doesn't have any interaction at all. No emotion, no reaction other than just a smiling at her. And then she looks back at him and smiles. Or not newspaper. I said that a few minutes ago. Not newspaper. I'm sorry. Pulls down the script. Then the next thing you know, the script goes right back up. You never see his face again. And then the next shot you see is from behind of her walking behind him. And you see the old man from behind, but you never see his face. Now, to me, if that was Stan Lee, that would have been almost like a one shot.
Right.
You would have shown Captain Marvel in that shot with him.
Yep.
Because that was your first female superhero movie. You were pumping that hard. Why wouldn't you want your first female superhero to be on screen at the same time as Stan Lee? Now, I'm not shitting on him by any means. I worship the ground that man walked on. Like, without him, this wouldn't happen right here, right now.
That's right.
I would not be me. I would not have any of this shit I have in my life. I wouldn't be who I am right now by any means without Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Mostly Stan Lee because he has been alive my whole life. That's my own personal thought on it. Now, the Kevin Smith, why I also mentioning him, he did a reaction video to it because he was just overwhelmed, like, oh my god, I can't believe they, mentioned me and did that for me, blah, blah, blah. And he's on record saying that is Stan Lee the entire time.
Wow.
Saying that, oh yeah, Stan said, or Kevin Feige said that this was like Stan's like last couple of days, and it's like, I don't want to shit on that if it is. So I don't want to sound like I'm hating on it. It's my own personal thought on it. If it is him, please, all means, like, let me know that's him. And I will not dismiss it anymore. But as a movie person...
You're just judging it by what you've seen, yeah.
Right. And as a movie person, I know movies. Like, I know so it seemed edited weird, like... That just doesn't seem natural.
Right.
And even he's talking in it when he's got the script up, and all he's saying, he's saying, quoting himself. I don't know if he's saying Excelsior or that's right, true believers. That's what he's saying, or something like that. That's right. And it sounds like a loop. Because that's all he's reciting. That's right, true believers. That's right, true believers. And it just seemed, and not that it's disappointing. You did what you had to do. You worked it in there. That's fine. But it's a conversation Mr. J and his brother and I were having, and I wanted to write it down because I wanted other people's, not so much opinion, we were just randomly talking about it, because he didn't see it that way. And it's like, all right, well, that's fine. And I think during our conversation, he kind of was like, oh, yeah, you know what? It kind of did seem something like that, and yada, yada. And like I said, nothing against it. It's just I wanted to kind of put that out there because it's just my thoughts on it. And that's really it for spoilers of the movie. There's an end credit scene we're going to go in crazy depth with right now. Well, not crazy depth, but enough. I'm trying to think if there's really any other... Again, the Ronan thing, I kind of want to mention him. You see a cool, subtle, it's so subtle, non-specific reaction between Ronan and Korath. And if you know him from Guardians, Ronan is clearly Korath's like boss at that point. Yeah. And Korath in that movie has like this cybernetic fucking like thing in his head. Yeah. And in this movie he didn't. So it's like I want to know what's going on with those characters. But in this movie, Ronan's about to do something. I don't remember exactly what it was. And his superior is telling him, no, don't do that. And you see Korath like look at his superior as well, like I'd like to do what Ronan's doing right now. And it's so subtle, but it's like that to me is a little nuance of there's something there. Right. There's something there. And I like that stuff. I read into that stuff. There's some weird little Easter eggs in it. I'm not gonna throw my thoughts out on them, but there's a True Lies Easter egg in there. Look into that because that's kind of a fucked up thing. It has to do with Brie Larson. Like, if people are listening to this, look into that. Because it is kind of a weird thing. There's a reason she specifically, like, blasts that cardboard cutout of Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, right? Was that the one? Yeah, yep. There's a little thing behind that. I saw that on feeds or something I follow, and I thought it was kind of like, oh, it's weird. Other than that, that's really it. I mean, the end of the movie, it doesn't... The end of the movie specifically does not tie in to Avengers Endgame at all. I mean, there is one little tie-in, like Dave said, the pager. Yep. Because they're in the 90s. Pagers are a thing for anyone that's like a kid. A pager was like something somebody could get a hold of you on that was almost like a cell phone, but you couldn't reply back on it.
Yeah, you had to call somebody on a payphone.
Right. You would get, like, if I had a little pager, it was like a little, like, small, like, nano iPod-esque looking thing. You'd hook it to your belt loop, and somebody would call you or text you. You could text back in the day, but it took forever to dial that shit. And, like, a little message would come across. I don't know. I never had one, but a little message would come across.
I had one in high school.
And then you would literally, unless you had a big-ass, bulky cell phone, you'd have to go find a payphone. Yep. And you will never know what a payphone is ever again unless you go watch Superman, the original Supermans. Like, how does Superman get changed nowadays? You ever wonder that?
Changes in the Apple Store.
You can't do that. That's fucked up. Do you ever wonder that, though? Like, think about it. Christopher Reeves and Superman back in the day used to go into a fucking phone booth and come right back out just Superman. You don't have phone booths anymore. What do you go into now?
Popeyes.
Get the fuck out. Keep your Supermans out of my chicken hut. But at the end of it, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, gives Nick Fury a updated pager that you see at the end of Infinity War that he clearly clicks to send help.
Before almost swearing.
Right. He almost says motherfucker, which kind of cool to think about. He almost said it in a Marvel movie. Like, been a long time coming. So, but the end credit scene, the one end credit scene that's like the cherry on the cherry. I filled the cup. If you know what I'm saying, like
another Kevin Smith reference.
I filled the fucking cup. Like, they didn't.
Did you get free refills with that?
Dude, they kicked me out because I filled all the cups. It was awesome. The end credit scene kicks off with the pager. You see the pager just sitting there blinking, and it says, like, sending. And obviously it's picking up from Infinity War. And then it zooms out, and you see Captain America with the beard, which is cool because in all the trailers they've showed so far, he doesn't have the beard. Yep. So it shows a different continuity right now, which I think he just looks so badass with a beard. Like, Chris Evans, man, he's like the new Harrison Ford. Just the epitome of a man. Like just that guy can do cool action movies. He's in stupid fucking movies. Like he looks the part that you wouldn't think he'd be able to do this part. Chris Evans is awesome. Really cool. And then, there's some dialogue in the end credit scene, but it's mostly like it's still sending. It's filler talk. But Black Widow's in it. Like I said, Captain America's in it. Steve Rogers, James Rhodes, War Machine, and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I think not Hulk, but Bruce Banner. Yep. I think those are the only 4.
I think so. Yeah.
If I'm missing anybody, I can't think of them. I'm sorry. But they show them, and they're still like they're watching like a speedometer basically count down the population just dropping, which raises a question of how fucking long in between that snap and them getting back and setting shit up, and how did they find that pager in all that rubble?
Yep.
And
why is it still counting down? Like, unless the snap is taking a really long time.
Right, does the snap take hours? Because it was pretty quick that all them Avengers died.
Yeah.
Like, if so, like, Thanos is... And if he can control that, he's a fuck. Like, I'll make all your friends die first.
Unless it's, like, collateral damage from people, like, in planes and stuff like that.
Which makes sense. But still, how did you find that pager? How did you know it even existed? If you even did know it existed, how do you know what you're looking for?
And why weren't you using it before?
Right. Did Nick Fury tell you about this? Because I addressed it earlier that he didn't, and I'm up to date on my movies. So more questions than answers, but I still loved it. And also, those blue fucking tubes. I don't know what those are. Those blue tubes.
Yeah.
I think it's Kree blood in tubes because Agent Coulson, which you wouldn't know this, because you don't watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. And if anybody that doesn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wouldn't know this, Agent Coulson, Phil Coulson, is still alive in that show. The Tahiti Project that they refer to, because Nick Fury... do they mention it in the movie? I don't think they ever do. I don't think that's something they even mention. But they call it the Tahiti Project. And when Phil Coulson comes back to life, he's like, I died. What the fuck happened? They brainwashed him almost to make him forget that he died, and the Tahiti Project was memories of him on the beach in Tahiti, But you come to find out that S.H.I.E.L.D. had a Kree alien in their presence, and they put his blood in Coulson, which kept him alive. And it being a movie that had the Kree in it, it just, to me, is a connection.
Right.
I don't know what else it would be. I mean, unless it's Smurf jizz. Like, why do you have that? Did you find Gargamel? Is that what he's looking for? Like, Gargaballs? Come on. Like, what the fuck? So, and then the end credit scene ends with Black Widow saying, or it turns off. I think that it turns off, and she goes, well, when it turns back on, you tell me, or something like that. And then, boom, as soon as she turns around, Captain Marvel's standing right there, looking distraught, with her hair longer. It's a bit messy. And the only thing she says and this is like the only time you feel any emotion from her, is, where's Fury? And then, boom, fade to black.
Yep.
Which I thought was a cool way to end it, which...
Her looking like she's been through some shit.
Right, which she should be. Like, and also... How long did it take her to travel from wherever she was? Like, I just, there's so many more things I want to know about. It leaves me to also think, does Black Widow take charge in that second because they're coming out with a Black Widow movie? And I know it's a prequel. I don't even actually know that. I don't know.
She was so deep into S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything.
Right,
so, yeah.
But are you gonna see like Captain Marvel in Black Widow's movie? Because obviously those two had like or is that just the two women of the MCU right now?
Right.
You know what I mean? It definitely leaves it open for like, oh shit, like Captain Marvel, like. But then again, it's like she's not here for anything other than Nick Fury.
Right.
Where I'm sure she'll be like, oh, I'm going to defend the world with you guys. Like, but it's weird. It continues that emotion of like, I didn't know how to feel about her, so I didn't know how to go into that last little bit, with her.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing her because it's a whole new character with this whole new lineup of characters, and I can't wait to see what that's like.
And it's getting introduced so late into it too, which makes it interesting.
And I think that was like the not negative, but the souring of it is you're introducing this character right at the cusp of the end of these movies.
Yep.
And you want me to... They're WWEing it. They're Roman Reignsing it. You want me to think this is the end-all, be-all of characters right now because you're telling me it is. Where I think that way about Cap and Tony and Thor because I've seen it through the last 10 years. Like, you think about it. Black Widow has been there since day one. Hawkeye has been in there since day one. Even Bucky's character has been in there since day one. They've all been in there since, well, minus Black Widow, she was in Iron Man 2. But they've all been there since the first introduction of even the main superhero. Hawkeye being in Thor's movie. Very subtle. Oh, Bucky.
Bucky, yeah.
To think he's still, it's the same fucking actor. And they're still going off with his character, you know. It's just, I've grown with these characters. I'm not just being force-fed this shit now. And I think, and that does bother me. Like, you know, here's to the future of the movies of where, you know, we think they're going to go and into Endgame, which is the next movie on the slot.
Which will probably be a whole episode in itself.
We will do, and we will. We'll do a spoiler-free one review. Yeah. And then we will do a spoiler one. Because I'm going opening weekend. Go to all these movies opening weekend. I know you said you probably go that Tuesday or something. Yeah, I'll
go the Tuesday after, yep.
So it'll be within a week and a half, little week and a half of each other. These, you know, you have a spoiler one and a non-spoiler one, but whatever. Endgame, like, knowing all these movies up to this point, what is your main thing you are interested to see in Endgame? What are you most... Is there anything you're expecting and one person that you are 100% convinced is going to die?
I want to see Spider-Man come back.
Yeah.
And I just want to see who they leave alive and who they bring back and who they don't.
Right.
You know, just see the decisions they make on that. I don't know who I'd expect to still be or to die. I want to say Cap because he didn't in Infinity War.
So many of them didn't, David.
But just because he was so expected to be one of the ones that died.
I know, and so many people were
he's like the backbone of the franchise, so it seems like one of them has to...
Right, it's a holy trinity. There's Thor, Cap, and Iron Man. They are the holy trinity.
And I'm really interested to see what they do with the Hulk, with Bruce Banner, that dynamic. Yep. I'm really interested to see what they do with that.
From some of the, not spoilers, but some of the advertisements or some of the marketing that I've seen, they kind of built it up in Thor Ragnarok with Hulk having his own personality and Banner.
Yeah. Then
they really played it up in Infinity War.
Yeah.
In the comics, there is, I want to call him Mr. Fix-It, but that's not accurate. But Smart Hulk. And it is the Hulk with Bruce Banner's personality inside of it. And like the Lego they make for him, he is smiling.
Yeah.
Hulk doesn't smile unless he's like making fun of Thor.
Yeah.
You know, you little fire, I big fire.
Baby arms.
Right, baby arms. Like, exactly.
Yep.
That's the only time. He's not smiling because he's happy. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I feel like they're going to, in this movie, have the Hulk let Banner be in control a little bit and do something like that.
That's cool.
But I don't know. I really don't know.
What are you looking most forward to and stuff like that?
Oh, man. The big thing, how you're going to end it. Because, yes, there are more movies coming down the pipeline. Spider-Man 2 comes out like a month later. But it's an ending.
Right.
This is...
Do you think Black Panther comes back?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. He's got another movie coming.
Right.
The ones I don't see coming back are Gamora, because she died prior to the snap.
Right.
Drax, I could have seen you not bringing him back, but now I can see him coming back. Oh, man. It's Cap. I can definitely see them getting rid of him finally, because it's exactly what people would expect. Bucky, I see him coming. I don't know. See, they have shows on their Disney Plus that they're going to be doing, and they're doing a Bucky and a Falcon show. So I don't know where that timeline is. So it's hard, and I like to speculate, but also have a source to kind of also be like, yeah, I kind of know, but I don't. It's hard to tell. Scarlet Witch, you have to bring her back now that you have the X-Men.
Right.
You have to, because she's Magneto's daughter. If you do an alternate universe, still bring her back. And do that alternate universe where she is Magneto's daughter, because she is. Vision, I'd like to see him come back he's a great character. He's a great Avenger.
You think Doctor Strange? Because they.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they only did the one movie, so.
No,
because they got to do time travel.
He will absolutely. He has nothing to do with the time travel.
Oh, okay. Shows you how much I know.
Well, Mr. J and I were talking about this. A lot of people think Doctor Strange is the time travel person. It's one. Look at it this way. He died. Two. Thanos had the goddamn stone.
Yeah.
So unless what's his name, Doctor Strange can time travel without that stone and bring himself back to life, he ain't gonna do it.
Right.
It's all in the quantum realm. It's all in Ant-Man, because at the end of Ant-Man, you hear Michelle Pfeiffer's character say, "Don't get sucked into a time vortex." There you go. Your time vortex. You introduced it right there.
Yep.
There's time in between, and she got older in that quantum realm. So there is a concept of time.
Right.
It's all right there. I mean, even the Lego sets, they're all wearing white quantum realm suits that look just not just like the Hank Pym one from that movie, but modern ones. Ant-Man is the key to it.
Right.
He's the one that's going to introduce him to the quantum realm. If I'm wrong on that, then I'll eat my shoe, because I'm pretty much going to put money on it. But yeah, no, they're not going to get rid of characters that they've only done one movie or have only introduced him a little bit to. There's absolutely no way. Doctor Strange is your connecting piece to almost every single character in the MCU without anybody even knowing it. He has relationships with everybody. With Ghost Rider, in Hell, with Mephisto, and Nightmare, and shit like that. He has relationships with Howard the Duck. He has relationships with Spider-Man, with the Avengers, with the Fantastic Four. Doctor Strange has a direct connection to Man-Thing, which Man-Thing is a whole nother Marvel Comics character. He's a defender of the swamps, which he has his swamps are a portal to Doctor Strange's home. There's so much to Doctor Strange that you can't just say here he was and there he goes.
Right.
No way. Doctor Strange is way too important. Bucky, I just don't know. Like, characters like that. Falcon. But then again, it's like both of those characters played Captain America at some point. So it's like, I don't know, maybe they'll go that way. Hawkeye. Why wouldn't you just had him in this Infinity War? If you're going to kill him, just kill him in Endgame.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just, it's hard to tell. It really, really is. Mantis, you can kill her and leave her away. She's useless as fuck. What I really want to see, I want to see how it just all comes together finally.
Right.
Because you can leave Infinity War on a cliffhanger. You got 3 more hours to tell another story in another movie. This movie can end on a cliffhanger, but it can't end on a, well, shit, how's Thanos going to fucking... It's got to end on a, that's it. That part is over. That part of the book, we're closing that, on that final page.
Now here's something completely different.
Right, now here's, a tease at the X-Men for end credit scene of like, oh shit, what a cliffhanger, but that's going to tell you something in the future. Yep. Like, Thanos needs to die at the end of this movie, so I know it's a definitive ending. Because if you leave anything unopened, it leaves the idea of it could come back.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 6, the final chapter. Alice, you think she's going to die, and she doesn't. And I'm going to go continue saving the world. It's the final fucking chapter. Yeah. What are you going to go do?
Yep.
It leaves me to think she's just going to go fuck a zombie. I don't know. Like, where's your story go after that? So this, I need to know Thanos dies, so it's not like, we got him in a cybergalactic prison. He may or may not break out and try to do this again. Like, right. No, you don't give him the chance. Go for the head.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but what I really want to see is if there is going to be any Easter eggs or hints towards the future of, like, the Fox merger. Because I have my own thought of the timing of everything is that's what it is. The timing of that Fox merger deal just happened. Right. Like, it's 100% done.
Yeah, I saw those reports.
Now, Endgame comes out in a couple of weeks. Like, now, if you had anything filmed that had X-Men or Fantastic Four to do with it with this movie, and you were worried, like, oh, we want to put that in the movie, but legally we can't until this merger happens. We don't know when this merger is officially done. So now it's done a month before your movie's out. If you did have any of that shit, now's your time.
Yep.
Put it out there.
Even if it's an end credit scene, yeah.
Like, Mr. J, he said something cool to me. I was like, that's pretty sweet. He goes, now, did you see Logan?
Yeah.
He goes, wouldn't it be cool if, like, you see, like, the spot where Logan died, and you just see a hand come up, and the claws come up out of the ground? You're like, oh. I don't know where you'd go with that, but yeah, that would be pretty cool
Hell
just
yeah.
to see something random like that.
That'd be sick.
But with the Avengers Tower being sold and bought, I think that's going to be an end credit scene. I think you're going to see, the movies kind of coming to a close. It's not going to end on like a big cliffhanger, like how the first Avengers ended, where it's like Sam Jackson narrating it, and you see like the heroes in the center of the park together, and they're all kind of like, see you around, don't know when the next time I'll see you is, and like Banner and Tony drive off together, and Loki and Thor shoot back up to the heavens or wherever, Asgard, and they're playing this very somber music of like, it's over.
Yeah.
You know that it's over until the end credit scene. So I think something like that should happen in this movie, where you're at peace, you're back to Tony and Pepper running through the park talking about their wedding. Something,
or even do the wedding.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Something like, I can rest easy now.
Yeah.
And then have your end credit scene be like a moment. Perfect. Say that your wedding is your end credit scene. Or not your end credit scene, I'm sorry, but your ending.
Yeah.
Your end credit scene could be them still sitting around, laughing and joking with each other during the wedding, the reception, and then just in Central Park. And you just kind of zoom out or whatever. You're showing the city landscape, this, and this, and you see the Avengers Tower in the background. And then all of a sudden you just see lights flicker on, and it lights up green. And where the A used to be, it's a big O and a C for Oscorp.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck. Or it lights up and it's a big 4.
Yeah, like they bought the building.
Exactly.
And,
so it's like, oh, like that's how you don't need to show anybody, because then at that point you're like, oh shit, they casted so-and-so. You can still wait and do your casting.
Yeah, you can do that digitally with no problem
whatsoever. Exactly. I think that would be really cool. I can't really picture another end credit scene other than that. I can't.
With this merger, that's the best way to do it, really.
It really is. It really is.
It, yeah.
Like, I thought a really cool way to end this movie, however they get to the finale, the final fight, however they get there, you have the time stone, if that's a thing still, just break. It cracks open or something, and you just see this fucking, purple, I don't know what color portal, but just this weird portal that is familiar. It looks semi to the one that Thanos was traveling through, but it's something's different about it. Like there's maybe electricity through it, something that's like, what the fuck? And then you see Doctor Doom just walk through and just fucking eviscerate Thanos or something, and just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then have somebody be like, who are you? Like, what the hell's going on? And he just have him be like, I am your doom. And just end of the movie.
That'd be sweet.
And pick up and then do your Fantastic Four movie as an origin, but show them for like the last 10 years. Say they existed back when Tony Stark, before he was Iron Man, right? But yet not to the capacity of their big names, and people are saying, oh, do you Reed Richards was at our meeting. They're just low-key scientists. They're not big to-do people, and they get this experiment. They can go up in space. They get an endorsement to go up in space and do their thing. Same origin as always in the other movies. It's space station, your cosmic energies. But however, incorporate the Tesseract, the Time Stone. The Time Stone before it gets put in the Tesseract, right? Maybe say the Time Stone was formulated some way, somehow, because of that cosmic energy, and that cosmic energy warps them to another world called the Negative Zone, which exists. It's a real comic book thing, but they're in this negative zone for the last 10 years. To them, it's been minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when they come back to in the MCU, you can explain that's where they've been for the last 10 years. They've been trapped inside the Time Stone. And now that it's cracked open, Doom has come out. The Fantastic Four can emerge, and they are the Fantastic Four that we love and know.
Right.
Without doing a complete origin story. I just think that'd be kind of different, creative, and fun, but I don't know what they'll have. And you got to make Doctor Doom your one of your next big villains. He is the Marvel's biggest villain. I don't care who will debate me on that. Doctor Doom is Marvel's big bad.
Yeah.
And I just think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it really is interesting to see where they go from here. It really is.
Ladies, gentlemen, gentlemen, the Wild Card and Deadly Dave would like to thank you for listening to the Comic Wrestling Podcast again. Check us out on YouTube and soon to be other platforms. Leave us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to get any new content that we put up, and we will be putting up new content that you want to check out. And go to comicwrestlecast.gmail.com and leave us any kind of comments about anything you guys want to hear about. Thank you again from your buddies at the Comic Wrestling Podcast.